Hi, everyone. This is Matt Winters. I'm very excited to meet y'all and talk to you today about our amazing upcoming conference, UCET and UELMA 2024. But I would be remiss if I didn't start off by bringing in my friend Gretchen Zaitzeff from UELMA. Hi, Gretchen.
Hello, Matt.
So good to have you here. I'm so excited. We did our big announcement on Friday for UCET and UELMA 24, and it's real now and it's incredible. I'm so excited.
All the months of talking and collaborating and the excitement that we feel, now we get to share that with everybody else. So
Absolutely.
it's like, the secret's out of the box.
Exactly. And it's just such a great secret to get out into the community. And so, first off, before we get into, we announced all of our keynotes and our speakers. Well, not all of them. We got a few up our sleeve, hopefully, over the next couple of months.
There are
But
still a few secrets we are keeping close to our chest. So we are
exactly.
ready to share.
Um, Before we get into that, though, Gretchen, we decided to start talking about this about almost a year ago. Um, and you're like, we've put out this announcement of like why we're doing this, but why are we doing this? What do you think the reason between USET and UELMA combining? What is the reason behind that?
Well, first of all, I'm like, why not? We've both held really great conferences where a lot of times someone who was coming to UELMA was also then turning around the next week and going to UCET. I know that's what I did. And it was just an opportunity to really expand what we could offer both of our memberships. The opportunity to learn more about librarianship, but also to be up to speed on all the technical aspects and technology that impacts student learning. I mean, that could just not be denied that it was a great fit.
100%. And we've been talking about this again since like November of last year, and we're just so excited to be able to better serve both the librarian populations, our classroom teachers, our coaches, our administrators, bring them all together in this great melting pot and have everyone learn from each other and experience things that maybe they don't normally experience in the course of their day. And so it's just such an exciting thing to jump into. With that said, here are all of the amazing speakers. Well, not all, again, we have a few secrets. Here are all of the amazing speakers that we're going to be coming. So, first off, Gretchen, when is UCET UELMA this year?
UCET UELMA 2024 is March 19th and 20th, 2024, at the Salt Palace in downtown Salt Lake.
Yep, and it's going to be happening all day, both days from 8 a.m. until around 5 p.m., folks. So we have
But
lots and
don't
lots of.
go home because there's opportunities every night for more learning and more fun.
Exactly. We have some great UCET UELMA After Dark events on the 19th that you'll definitely want to be a part of, that we'll be announcing over the next couple of weeks and months, which we're very excited about. Last year we had at UCET our great board game night with Eric Kurtz and Dan Ryder, and so we're hopefully going to keep that going this year. We'll talk more about that later.
And
For our
we
day one
have
keynote,
at UELMA has, like we mentioned earlier, more surprises, more secrets to share as we get more details firmed up. And so please just be patient and look for more announcements.
absolutely. But Gretchen, I know you are excited about our day one keynote. So tell us a little bit about who we're going to see at 8:30 a.m. on the 19th.
Richard Collada is the ISTE and ASCD CEO. I'm a big fan of his work. If you haven't read Digital for Good, now you have some homework to do before the conference. This was on my bucket list, was to hear Richard speak, and I'm so excited that he's coming to UCET UELMA.
Absolutely. And we also have another ISTE board member, Adam File, who is also the Director of Professional Learning and Leadership for All for Ed. He will be speaking kind of a truncated speech in front of Richard on day one as well. Who do we got for day two?
So Carolyn Foote, who's the co-founder of Freedom Fighters, we're very excited to have her with us and to talk about the efforts to really develop the freedom to read for every student. And Becky Calzada, who's the American Association of School Librarians current president, we're very excited to host her in Utah this year.
Yeah, and Becky also is part of the Freedom Fighter movement. She's one of the founders as well, and so we're just very lucky to have people of this high quality coming out to speak to us on both days. We also have some amazing Utah speakers. So last year at UCET, we had UT Ed Chats as our keynotes, these local speakers who came out, told us about their work here in Utah. We're continuing that with just a few speakers. So on day one, we'll have Sarah Young, who is the Utah State Board of Education Chief of Staff, a fantastic speaker and just a wonderful woman. We're very excited to have her come out. Same with Scott Judy, who is a teacher fellow and a school district teacher in Davis School District. So we're excited to have both of them. On day two, in front of Carolyn Foote and Becky Calzada, we'll have Laura Merkley, who is a Utah teacher fellow as well, and was the 2020 Utah Teacher of the Year and works in Granite School District. We will also have Darren Perry, who is the former chairman of the Shoshone Nation, come out on day two to speak to us. So it's very exciting keynotes across the board.
So, I think this is a whole reason, to come early and stay late, because they'll be learning from, pretty much as soon as the sun comes up, way past after the sun goes down each day.
Absolutely. And then on top of that, the learning doesn't end. We're not just bringing in some keynotes, we're bringing in some national speakers as well. So here are some of our featured speakers here. Gretchen, first off, they're kind of at the end of the group here, but tell us a little bit about the UELMA featured speakers, which are Jarrett Lerner and Donalyn Miller.
So Jarrett Lerner is an author and illustrator. You're going to love him if you don't already. His work is among the best selling for middle grade and elementary students. And Donalyn Miller is just a rock star in the library world. She wrote The Book Whisperer and other professional development for teachers and librarians about how to really engage students in reading. I'm also going to claim Darren Hudgens as one of our library rock stars. He and Jennifer Lagarde co-wrote Developing Digital Detectives, which, if you haven't taken the UELMA, or I'm sorry, the UEN PD, I recommend that as well. His insight into both education and information literacy is right at the forefront of things our students need to know today.
Absolutely. And thanks to UEN for bringing him in as a speaker again this year. He's a wonderful addition to the conference every year. On the UCET side, we are bringing in a conference favorite from last year. And it's kind of an in-joke at this point, but putting him in a larger room, Eric Kurtz, the owner and writer on Control-Alt-Achieve, the very wonderful Google blog, but also just a wonderful educator across the board. We have also Carl Hooker, who will be there only on day one, but he is a wonderful ed tech leader from the Austin, Texas area, and he'll be speaking a lot about AI and some talks about failure as well. He has a great book called Ready, Set, Fail. And then we are welcoming also Kate Baker and Cheryl Place, two educators from the New England area, who will be speaking to us about a variety of topics, including social emotional learning and educational technology. So got some great speakers across the board, but wait for more announcements coming up, because we have a few more up our sleeves coming down the pipeline as well. We're also working on, we have some partner rooms this year. Yes, last year at UCET we had, and also UELMA, you guys had some sessions from them as well. The Utah Teacher Fellows, who have rebranded as the Teacher Fellows, they're going to be taking over a room for the conference and doing sessions with their Teacher Fellows, both the new crop who are just starting out this year and also some of the Teacher Fellows from prior years. ULEAD will be coming back and taking over the Highlight Hive, which is our poster makerspace session as well. So make sure that you check them out. And then we have some national groups coming in doing room takeovers for us, All for Ed and Tech and Learning. So make sure you check out all their spaces, folks. We're very excited and lucky to have them here.
And as we've mentioned before, there's more announcements to come. So
Absolutely. Gretchen, the best way I think to participate in UCET and UELMA though is to come out and present. And so we got to talk a little bit about our presentations that are coming up here. So they are open. You can go to this website, down at the very bottom here of the screen, uset.org/2024 proposals. This will take you right to our proposal guide. We opened this up on Friday. We already have a dozen folks. So get in here, make sure that you're putting your proposals in there.
Right.
Um,
So I've never attended UCET or UELMA where I haven't actually presented. So I
Same, absolutely.
Right. I think it's the best way to participate is not only to up your game so that you can present, but also to be there, to be learning and collaborating and in discussion with our colleagues from across the state.
Absolutely. And so this year, like last year at USET, we're looking for certain strands, and UELMA is joining on board with this. So we're going to be building out rooms where you can come in and check out a space and certain talks and topics all the way through that. So UELMA has four, which I think are the first three, and the second one, or the first one on the second column. So could you go through those real quick, Gretchen?
So, of course, we are always looking for proposals about best practices in librarianship. Uh, and then that's spaces, instruction, all the things that make us stronger librarians by sharing those with each other. Also collection development. We have some presenters who come every year and share what's best, what's out there, what you got to be buying and purchasing and make them available for students. We're also very excited to share the makerspace idea with USET. So it's not like we just own one thing. This is just us. But STREAM is STEM with reading and arts. And so, a lot of technology also requires reading. In order to have the foundational skills students need to move forward with maker projects. So we're very excited about those options. And also information literacy and digital citizenship. Now, I mean, if you follow the news, being information literate is something that every Utah student needs to be college and career ready. And we feel that both our ed tech and our library educators are at the forefront of this topic.
Absolutely. And we're excited to welcome all of those topics to the conference this year, to USET and UELMA. But also from the USET side, we are looking for a few topics that dovetail very nicely with the UELMA topics, but also take us in some interesting directions. So first off, we are looking for sessions on accessibility and universal design for learning, computer science, coding, and robotics. We have these two things called EdTech 101 and EdTech 102, or the cutting edge of technology, that are kind of those spaces to really dive into the technologies that we use kind of across the state of Utah or in the Intermountain West. We also have a room for leadership. So that's for our administrators or statewide people to kind of have collaborative sessions about what's happening across the state. Media productions in classrooms, personalized competency-based learning, research and education, which is kind of targeting our higher ed, but also anybody who's writing a master's thesis or doing hands-on
Or
research in
working
our
on their dissertation.
or their dissertation, absolutely. Here in their classrooms or in their districts, this is a great space for you to come and share. And we've got some great topics that we're working with on that. Artificial intelligence, which is not hot at all right now, but
Yeah,
we're
nobody's
talking on that.
talking about that.
Yep. So we'll be tossing that in there, and then always the perennial favorite, instructional and technology coaching. So those are the strands that we're looking for, folks. So make sure that as you develop your proposal, which we would love to have from you, make sure that you think of these in mind and go, oh, I do have something to say about artificial intelligence or coaching or librarianship, and I would love to have that in there as a proposal. Anything
And
to add, Gretchen?
well, just because I introduced it or Matt introduced it doesn't mean that, only librarians can write proposals for this or only ed tech educators can um, write proposals for that topic. I mean, if if you're a librarian and you're hot on AI, we want to hear from you. Or if you're an ed tech educator and makerspace is your thing, we want to hear from you. That's why we're combining, is so that it's a collaborative effort, so that we're learning from, the best there is in our state. And it's probably you if you're watching this video.
Absolutely. And one other thing to add on to that is please feel free to share this with your fellow classroom educators, your coaches, your administrators. We would love to have as many diverse voices at this conference this year, and sharing this proposal with your with your fellow colleagues at your building or in your district is the best way to do that. So encourage each other, put in good presentations. We'd love to have as many Utah voices at this conference as possible, because that's really what's important here.
So,
The,
Matt, if I
yeah.
was new, what would I need to know to write a good proposal?
Well, let's jump into that. So here is the actual call for proposals. This is what you'll see when you log in there. A couple things to keep in mind. First of all, there's a great message from Gretchen and I at the top. You'll need all your biographical information. Make sure you write, if this is your first time presenting, maybe spend a little bit of time on your presenter experience. That way, if you have never presented at UCET before or UELMA, this gives those of us who are reading your proposals a little bit better understanding of who you are and what you do in education. That would be number one. As you work down, though, you are going to be able to add multiple presenters if you want. So you can do a panel, which is always a great idea. Having more than one voice in the room, that is a great way to go.
It
And
also helps, just, I think, with the whole flow of the instruction. You don't have to go it alone. If you're already collaborating between, your tech coach and the librarian, we want to hear from both of you. Or if you've got a great thing going with a classroom teacher, bring them along.
Absolutely. And with that said, too, kind of going off that route, we also have multiple formats. We're offering formats anywhere from 5 minutes up to 120 minutes this year. Things that are low impact, like Ignite or a bullet session, which is just a very quick 5-minute talk, to something like a maker session or a poster session where you're kind of working with people as they walk by a table or an area in that highlight hive. There's also traditional presentations of 60 or 30 minutes. We're offering virtual sessions and UT Ed chats. There's lots of ways to engage, and they don't always have to be a solitary person doing 60 minutes. It can be 30 minutes, it can be 5 minutes, it can be a panel, it can be an ed camp style where you're just facilitating a conversation on a particular topic of importance. So feel free to grab whatever session works best for you. Two
And
more
remember,
things.
we want to hear from you. So, if you think, oh, I don't have 60 minutes worth of this great idea, make a poster,
Mhm.
do a 5 minute, do an ed chat. It's all really what we want to hear from, is your experience, your expertise. And, if you don't feel like you're the expert, we can all grow and learn together.
Absolutely. And kind of the last thing here, make sure I always do this on a separate doc, wherever you're writing at. I always tend to write my session title and my session description separately. Just keep in mind no more than 10 words for the description, or sorry, for the title, no more than 250 words for the description. We don't need to read your novel. We want to get right to the meat of what you're going to
Or
be
your
presenting.
presentation.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
So
don't need
make
a
sure
whole
that
presentation, just a description.
Absolutely. So I would spend a little bit of time on those, maybe have a few people read through it and say, is this something that you would want to attend? That's always how I asked as well. Down the bottom here, just a couple things that you might want to be aware of. We do have our media release added on here, so you're going to want to read through that, as well as a volunteer application to volunteer the conference, which is always a great experience, and then our board applications for both the UCET and UELMA. So
And
that
volunteering is just like speaking. You don't have to volunteer all day, because we want you to also go to sessions, but we do need help because, there's going to be more of us than ever before. And I know in the past at UELMA, we've heavily relied on our volunteers to make the day great. And I know that we will need those same people and their friends, colleagues, to help make this day great as well. So you can volunteer for just, a short period of time to help make the conference great for everyone.
Absolutely. And just kind of a heads up, everyone, call for proposals closes October 15th. So you have just about 5 weeks to do this. So make sure you start working on this sooner than later. We already have about a dozen proposals in as of today, which is Tuesday, 9/12, which is incredible. But we would love to make sure that you get your proposals in there sooner than later. Again, you can go to ucet.org/2024 proposals, and you'll be able to jump right onto the proposal guide that you're seeing in front of you on the screen, and you'll be all set to go. Well, with that said, Gretchen, I'm just so excited about the conferences that we're going to be doing this year, all of the great events we have going on. There's a lot of work to be done, and I do have a countdown here that says it's 188 days away, so no pressure, but we're
No
just
pressure.
excited to welcome everyone and get everyone out to the conference this year.
There's going to be a lot of new things, a lot of ways of experiencing learning in new ways that we've never done before. I just feel like this is not to be missed. So, planning ahead for those of you who need to make accommodations for you being out of the classroom or out of your schools, we just think this is worth your time. So, we look forward to seeing everyone there.
Absolutely. And with that said, folks, you can reach out to Gretchen or I. Our emails are on our respective websites for UELMA and UCET, but also you can find those emails on the proposal guide as well. But thank you for watching, and hopefully this was helpful for you to kind of understand what the conference is all about this year, and we hope to see you on March 19th and 20th.
See you then.